Holy crapola. Welcome, everybody. It is Boston Concessions. I am your host, Topher. This internet has been acting up. And the worst part about it is this whole thing has just been being a little wonky. But we're going to try to get through it, see how it goes. Everything has just been... I'm going to try to dull it down for a minute. There we go. I don't know if that's going to help. But as long as we have the audio and everything's playing in, that's what I'm basically going to at least focus on. Because we want to talk here. We want to talk about a lot of things coming up. I've got my laundry list. My laundry list has been whole. It's been pure. I've been going over a lot of stuff. First off, anybody who checked out the channel the other day, or anything like that upon looking at the WrestleMania go. First off, thank you. It was 3 hours. I think I went off a little bit. I was way tired. A lot of other stuff basically came up. I wasn't able to bring you what was expected for Thursday due to the draft. I was trying to catch up. I was also trying to stream live from the draft. Not a lot of things went over really well, so I just nixed it. Same thing with Wednesday. I was having some issues. I was able to stream getting something set due to the other channel I do. But we're here. We're here. It's great. It's amazing. And first off, I know this is episode 20 of the second season as we've been rolling in. First off, to anybody who's followed, anybody who's hung out, I got to get this off. Thank you. It has been just amazing to know to the fact that you guys are hanging out with me. You guys are rewatching the VODs, rewatching the episodes, and giving me some constructive feedback and criticism, because I'm all for that. I know I'm not the best thing in the world. I know I'm not the guys on EEI or 98.5. I know I'm not some punk DJ who's on spinning tunes for 92.9. And there's probably somebody listening to me who's not even completely in the vicinity, and they're going, what stations are these? What do you listen to? Well, I listen to a good amount of stuff. So I'm going to start with the elephant in the room. We got some Red Sox stuff to cover. We got the Bruins. We got the Celtics and the Magic. Patriots, the draft, the thoughts, the breakdown, what I feel about it. And then lastly, the Bruins. Now, I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm still, I have an unimpressive feeling with the Bruins. But first, let's get started upon what our entry was, okay? Celtics basically holding their own. That's what I like. Patriots made some smart moves, made everything we're doing. The Red Sox is starting to find their groove. And of course, there's the Bruins. So I will start with the Bruins because it's going to get me riled up to where I know I can calm myself down with the Celtics and ease into everything as we go. So I'm going to call it a town hall. I know it's an owner's meeting or a management meeting or whatever the hell they called it. But here's the basic part. So it's an end of season press conference. Okay. Here's my main problem. Charlie Jacobs, Cam Neely, and Don Sweeney are sitting there addressing the media. Okay? The key topics were off-season plans, team performance, fan base. Okay, I'm all for that. First off, what does fan base have to do with your end of season press conference? Well, I'll tell you why and I'll bring you into it. So somebody decided to have Charlie Jacobs kind of have him and Neely give a little bit of a presentation as to, dude, what's the feedback from the fans? So the whole aspect of what was basically broke down was fans are disappointed. Fans didn't like the direction that the team was going. They didn't like the monikers that were being addressed. They didn't like a lot of things that were basically being brought to their attention because these are people that pay for tickets. They pay for everything going on. They go to the games. They're expected to see wins. They expect to see this. They expect to see teams. And what they saw was, I don't know, about 25 bodies, 2 goalies, and a couple guys in suits looking like pieces of turds. And I know making that comment, when I made it beforehand, somebody looked at, well, not Pastrnak. No, especially David Pastrnak. Okay? Like, there's more stuff that's coming out about this team. Swayman not feeling like his best, knowing to the fact he wasn't giving his best, knowing to the fact that there were issues. And basically, listen, I'm siding with you guys on one simple thing. Okay? The disappointment of Swayman was completely crap. The side I'm not siding with you guys on, when you're like, oh, trade him, I'll do this, I'll pitch him off, I'll make him look a statement. Here's the thing. Lighten the fuck up. Okay? Everybody wants to sit there, oh, he's had 2 bad years. He's had 2 bad years. Can you name me the second year, please? Last I checked, the previous year, he battled tooth and nail to try to keep himself in position to battle to keep you in everything going on. There was nothing that stated to the fact that he was ever in doubt to like who he was. Now fast forward this year. There's a couple things in order. Okay? But here's the difference to like what I see, what you guys don't see. Did he stink up the place 9,000? Sure. But did he come out at the end of the year and didn't say anything about his teammates? Nothing. He came out, he called himself out. Okay? He called himself out, stating that it was not his best hockey. He was disappointed in himself. That was not what he wanted to give the fans. That was not what he wanted to give the fan base. This was him coming out and showing to the fact of a veteran leadership presence, which he's not even there yet. And this guy's showing to the fact he's got more stomach than the couch GMs that sit here and say, trade him, get a bag of pucks. Trade him with Sweeney for something that looks good, feels good, and above all else, makes the team run smooth. I'm getting sick and tired of it. I don't know about you guys. For me, like if a person comes out and says like, dude, I sunk. Okay, I sucked. I blew up the place. I bombarded everything. Oh my God. I was completely and utterly horrible. I did not know what to expect. I did not know like where to go, what to do, how to get there, and everything else I was doing. It just wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good sign. It wasn't anything that I was really happy with. Just really wanted to let you guys know that. Going through everything. Hopefully Sorry, hopefully we're back. Yep, we are. Okay. I just had everything go quiet. All right, I'm gonna have to take off like the video, because the camera's like still being wonky, funky. So, but you get to see like my shining face in either which way, shape, or form. But look, here's the quality aspect that still gets to me, okay. When you guys are calling for somebody's head, and the most thing that I'm seeing is like somebody admitting that they did something wrong. But not only admit to the fact that they did something wrong, they admitted that this was not their year. And you get those people that just go completely off base, thinking that, oh yeah, well, let's complain, let's do this. So what did Jacobs and company do? Oh, they during their end of season press conference, they held their quote unquote appreciation of the passionate and loyal fan base while acknowledging the disappointments with the performance and the craptastic ways that they did. Listen, first off, I'm going to tell you like a little something about. I hate, loathe is a better word. I loathe the word appreciate. It's overused. It's debunked. It's crap. It's an easy way of like, when you're 15, you like this girl, you like this girl, you like this girl, but you want to make sure they're like feeling everything. So the kid comes out and like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. By the way, I love you. We've been dating for 2 weeks and I love you. Well, instead of somebody coming off and being like, man, like you've done so much for me, and you've been there for me, and you've been like an absolute rock. I can't go beyond like any doubt, without. Instead, you get, dude, man, I appreciate you. It's the cheapest freaking way of saying, we're sorry. We like you still. We want to be best friends. Oh my God, I love what you did. In one simple word that gets used far beyond compare. And to anybody I've said this to, the one thing they will say is when they sit there for 24 hours and they count how many times they've heard the word, they want to cry. So when someone comes off and says they express their appreciation for how the fans are, to me, that's a garbage way of saying, we know you're there, but there's nothing we can do about it. We know you're there. We know you love hockey. We know the fact that you want to watch any team. Trust me, if I could make the 2-hour drive to Connecticut every time and go watch a Hartford Whaler game, okay, than watching the swill that happened through the Bruins, I would do it. However, the Whale is not in Hartford anymore, It's really disappointing. Okay. The team does not exist. There is no team in Connecticut anymore, which is even worse. So what does that say about the Bruins? I mean, was anybody happy about this? No. Did anybody expect this type of turn? No. But then the fact that you completely missed the offseason, you were one of the worst teams in hockey, and people are also sitting there going, we're going to miss the last draft pick. We want to be first. Listen, you were never picking first, okay? There were 3 teams that were way better than you. You were either going to tie, go above, or below to one of 3 teams. I believe it was the Kraken and 2 other teams. Bottom case to it, you had maybe a level 3, like a pick 3, 4, or 5 coming out of the first round. Okay? You basically did what the Patriots did this year. Shut up, take your draft pick away. And by the way, I'll say this wholeheartedly, hitting the nail right on the head. The fans this year have been abysmal. Like, you want to talk about the team dropping logs? Okay, the fan base for how craptastic their whole mouth, their whole vision, their whole everything that they basically wanted to be this year has been garbage. Dude, we crossed Facebook. We found the Boston Bruins Facebook page and we went on there, and what did we pull? People talking crap about fans. That's the point that gets me pissed. You're really going to sit there and bark at a fan because they thought a game was great? Yeah, they lost, but you saw the young kids battle. You got to see more of, like, what Bruins hockey is, and it seemed like they were in mid-season form, even though it was the end of the year. Stop it. Get some help. Yes, I turned a Michael Jordan like promo into that. God! Like, here's the worst part about Bruins fans and how they, like, basically go their quota. If they're winning, they will pump rainbows to every single person that actually goes in the wake. You scored a goal, you're going to get floated. If you get a shutout, you're going to get floated. If you only let up one goal, maybe two goals, but you won by 6, you're going to get floated. If you only had 15 shots on net, you're going to get floated. And by floating means to the fact you're going to be on cloud 9 because the fan base is absolutely going to love you. But what happens when you lose? It's like someone walked in and just had a monkey in a cage, and the monkey crapped in its hand and threw it at you. Where it hit you, that's for you to know. And that's the biggest point that, like, everybody, like, goes to, like, sit there and look at. Like, what is it to the fact that, like, you just basically did? Like, I just don't know what to expect out of something that, listen, you were never going to change. You know? It's in I'm trying to, like, finger the words to say right now because this is what enrages me. You're fans of a good product. You know to the fact the product is competitive because you have the competitive edge. And let me put it this way, okay? Before I get into, like, how the team should be and everything, I'm going to read cliff notes from basically this is Mass Live. Okay, it's Matt Bator. He's a sports columnist for Mass Live. Okay? He posted this on the 24th of April. Okay, I've read through it. It pretty much digs a point. And it basically goes into, what should be part of the fan base. So this is basically the poll that Matt did. At one time or another, Jacobs, Neely, and Sweeney each took umbrage as they disputed the premise of questions and pushed back. The Bruins' desire to retain their defensive identity on the ice leaked into their demeanor often. It started off harmlessly enough with Jacobs getting his message out. We owe you a better team, and we aim to deliver a better team. I share your disappointment and, frankly, embarrassment on how poorly things played out over the course of the season, and I cannot thank you enough for your continued support. This is where the underline comes in. We embrace your criticism because it's well-deserved. And I want you to know it fuels myself and it fuels the two gentlemen to my left to do better, which we will. Neely and Sweeney echoed his praise of the fans. They stopped embracing the criticism about 14 minutes into the hour-long affair. Sweeney seemed to bristle at a question suggesting he's been too quick to fire coaches who've then gone off to thrive elsewhere. Jacob stumbled a bit when asked a no-win question about ticket prices going up. And then Neely, whose personality can sometimes mirror his playing style, was asked about Sweeney's draft missteps. He challenged the premise of the question and then went through a long, frustrated defense of Sweeney's drafts that ended with, "We can be better. There's no question we can be better." If he stopped there, he'd have been okay. But then came the soundbite, "It's not as bad as everybody thinks." So, a couple things I take from Matt Vautour, and go check out Matt's live. So, Matt Vautour's stuff is actually like really good. I've read some of it. So I'll give him praise and everything like that. I'll probably tag him on Twitter. It'll be fine. But here's the benefit of this that like I take from that. Okay. When you're telling me we can be better, there's no question we can be better. Matt hits it on the head. If he stopped there, okay, less is more. He would have had a golden opportunity to have just the whole fan base go, yeah, he's right. We can be better. We can be what we want to be. We can grow where we want to be. When he adds, but it's not as bad as everybody thinks, to me, that's a dig at the fan base, because the fan base is saying to the fact that Sweeney has basically screwed the pooch with a lot of draft picks and everything. I'm not getting on Sweeney about the draft picks. I'm not. Some of the draft capital, the guys he's pulled in, the moves he's done to get more draft picks and basically pull a Danny Ainge into like currently now, solidifies everything you want to see. What's the one thing that misses, though? Free agency. Okay? And the point that somebody even made where you fired coaches shows to the fact that it's on a general manager level. It's not on a Neely level. That's the point I get from this. We've sat here and listened to this. And a lot of people wanted to point the fingers at Neely. And a lot of people wanted to point the fingers at Sweeney. Some of the people wanted to point the fingers at Charlie Jacobs. Yes, at the end of the day, firing a coach, especially for given right, is a GM duty. You go in, you talk to the coach. If you don't think it's doing right, you dismiss them, and then you work with the president of operations to then tell the owner, hey, the coach has been let go. But even with my defense of Neely, I think he looked like a slob. I really did. The fact, though, that he goes back to 2015 and he's talking about draft picks and how, like, oh, we could have did this, we could have did this, oh, we could have like focused a little bit more within what we were doing in the draft room, and we had what we were going to do, and like our pick wasn't there, and we just went like across what we were doing, and we could have went back to the table. Stop. So, was it Sweeney's first time? Was it Neely's first time? If you guys can't go back to the table instantly and sit there and think long and hard, hey, if this is how like we're picking fifth, if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, or 1, 2, 3, 4 drop and we don't have our fifth pick, who's our next introduction? Why do we do it? If this guy isn't there, what do we do here? Do we have guy 1 we want to pick? Yes. We have guy 2, guy 3, guy 4, guy 5. You basically should have the top 5 draft picks that are burning up the college level from outside the U.S., anywhere within vicinity that you're going to draft these kids, you best get the top 5 guys and you better scout them. And then when draft day comes, if you know that guy number 3 has a chance of going 4th or 5th and falling to you, that's who you want, mark him. But if he doesn't go, if he goes at number 2 because someone had a change of heart, and now the draft pick at number 5 is going to be yours at number 5, did you plan for it? Yeah. This was like they walked into a room, okay? It's when you go to like do your draft picks for your fantasy football, okay? I don't know about anybody, but I've always laid out my draft picks, my draft choices, who I'm going to draft, what I'm going to draft. And I put them in order. And I know to the fact if I don't pick number 1, I don't pick the number 1 guy. I know he's not going to be on the friggin' table. But let's put it this way. If I know the number 1, number 2, and number 3 guy are right then and there, they're the top guys for like what I need. Yeah. I'm going to pick one of those top 3 because they're going to be the money makers. So any plan I had for number 6 goes right out the door. Now, if I know to the fact that number 3 or number 2 or number 1 is going to be a problem by the time I get into the draft board, I know he's going to be there. So here's my thing. If I'm picking 5th and I know to the fact that number 5 is not going to be there, I'm going to be looking at number 6. I'm going to be looking at alternative methods, maybe looking at number 6, maybe looking at somebody else. Hey, who did the other guys like pass up that they picked someone else? They didn't do that. So they booched. Right. But what do you do about free agency? That's your biggest friggin' problem. Okay? Team performance. That follows in. All 3 of them acknowledge the team's disappointing performance and express commitment to improving the team's performance in the future. Okay? So going back to Matt's, article here. So now they've raised the temperature on themselves. The draft, free agency, next season, all face new scrutiny. No benefit of the doubt from the fan base. Matt, again, nail right on the head. You make a comment like that, or you brush off to the fact that, like, you've committed to improving the team's performance in the future. But one of your guys can't do that performance. What do you do? How do you handle it? How do you go about it? Your guys are going to go in and you're going to draft, and you're going to draft either pretty well, pretty sucky, or you're going to balance of a 50-50 mix. What happens when you don't get the guy you want and then you go out in free agency and you've whiffed? Because here's my take, and like, here's why I was kind of a little disappointed in Neely. Okay? As team performance, everything we're talking about right now, plus the draft. So Neely told you the story about the 2015 draft. Okay? Not only did the fact that he told you about the story about the 2015 draft, he basically told you everything that like happened into the fact that they did not get the guys that they wanted to. Okay? You didn't get a lot of things that like you were looking for like on there. So like now, what do you do? So when you're Cam Neely and you're making this comment about 2015, the draft, because I don't know if my mic cut out for a second there. So like I'm just like looping back a little bit. And like this is where I want to talk about Neely in the 2015 draft. If you know that your guy, of all things, you as well, did not do well in the 2015 draft, have you seen his free agent picks? The point I'm trying to make, okay, to every Bruins fan out there, when you get to 2015, you put a list of guys together, they weren't there, you don't have them. What do? Well, you gotta improvise. You basically didn't go back to the drawing board and think because you had like almost about 40 minutes of another pick. You know, you didn't go back to like where you were to like readdress and reevaluate and redo everything. No, you just sat there with the thumb up your rear end saying like, hey, well, we can find these guys. Great, grand, cool, wonderful. What did you do in free agency, by the way, Mr. Sweeney? That's right. 2 years ago, possibly a couple times last year, and the year before, you basically swung and missed on the high-priced guys that you wanted to get at a little bit more of a cost that decided to decline your offer and go with other teams. And then you fell for shit. You basically had no backup plan. You had no iota. So when Neely brings up 2015, I swear he's digging at Sweeney. Think about it for one moment. Has Sweeney ever hit on a free agency target? He's gotten his guys. But he's never brought in free agents that would make mountains and moves that are basically going to do anything that's going to bring you to understand that, hey, this is going to be like really great. He's made pretty good additives over the past 2 years, the past 3 years, to get you to the playoffs that should have strengthened the team up, and the team fell flat. But you didn't do anything considering A, you just lost draft capital in order to get these players. B, you dropped off a couple players that were never making it or amounting to anything that you basically had, and that somebody wanted to try a second guess and play chess with. But you never had anything that put somebody up there. You failed. You lose. Good day, sir. That's the point of that. It's all within the reach of what you look at. So when Sweeney goes for a free agent pick, he's swinging and missing. It's like if Austin Matthews was out there. Austin Matthews, you had the money for, you had this really good player, came from Toronto, made all the strides. Oh man, I wouldn't mind playing for Boston. So Sweeney puts his heart and soul, pitches the money idea to Charlie Jacobs. He pitches the money idea to Cam Neely. He pitches everything under the sun to where, this is going to be a monumental thing. Now everybody in the Boston fan base and also everybody in the Boston brass office is all on board to take on this free agent. He signs back with Toronto. 5 more free agents that could have filled the shoes of the hype that was Austin Matthews now signed for other teams because Sweeney didn't bother talking to them. This is the method that Sweeney uses. He focuses on high and then settles for low. And this is giving GM scrutiny right here, okay? And this is not me being a GM, a couch GM in any which way, shape, or form. This is explaining to you what a GM should do. Because I'm not saying he should go out and get this guy. I'm not saying he should go out and get that guy. Oh, trade this guy because he sucks dingbats. Okay? No. Not talking about you. No. Silence. What I'm talking about is somebody that sits there, and the point of what they do is, okay, got Austin Matthews. Good pick. Ooh. We got a backup goalie right here, just in case if Korpisalo falls apart. But we also got a guy that should make a difference. Ooh, we've got to get a... Brendan Carlo didn't sign that deal. Do we want to get him back, or do we want to get the guy who played on the line with him because the line was damn good? Can we get him? You know? Hey, can we put ourselves in the record books? Alexander Ovechkin's going to be like a free agent. Could we make a bid just to say we did something? And the funny thing is, like, I've seen GMs that, like, they reach out to these camps and they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so from, like, this place. Yeah, we're not interested. Well, I'd still like to throw an offer to you just in case. Because if you top 3 don't come in, well, we've got 7. Great, cool. I'll be number 8. That's a pitch and promotion you should be doing. There's always going to be a guy that, oh, man, I'd love to go to Chicago and blow it up with the Blackhawks. Make good strides, play good, get my time in, greats played there. The original 6. Cool. Great. Now what do you do? Of course, that guy's going to go there, want to go there, want to go here, want to go here. Chicago's not going to need him. So they don't go for him and they apologize to him. But then he's got 2 backup teams that don't have the cap. So, yes, can he sit there and go, well, I don't know where to go? Boston's sitting there at 4th. They throw an offer out. It's better than the offer 2 of the teams would have did. And it's under what Chicago would have done had they needed them. But you can't balance that off. This is what it seems like Sweeney doesn't do. He goes on high, he looks down low, and then like when all he has is the low ball effect, he overpays for the low ball effect. What does that do for anybody? You know what it does? It makes him look like a jackass. Great. Get good talent in here from draft capital and then build them up in Providence. Providence is great. You not so much. Off-season plans. By the way, moving on. The team discussed plans to reestablish a leadership group, surround them with competitive players, and address the team struggles this season. In everything I just said for team performances, how in God's green earth are you going to address the team's struggles while reestablishing the leadership group to not break anybody that's currently on the team, and then bring in the competitive players to make sure they're part of the leadership group or follow the leadership group's instructions? That's a tall tale right there. Tall tale. Do I like that? No. Because right at this meeting, you should have established off the bat who the leadership of this team is. You've got an assistant captain. You've got another assistant captain. You have no captaincy. And nobody, and I said this a couple nights ago, like a couple streams ago, I will say this tonight. No, you do not have, and I don't care if the wannabe Z that's on this team, Zadorov, I don't care. You do not, and I repeat, do not have a captain on this team. The way the team played, the way they went out there, the way they looked, the way they felt, the way they acted, the way they basically gave it to Sacco, no, you do not have a captain on this team. A captain would have controlled them. A captain would have worked with them. A captain would have did everything, and he would have been the first person at the microphone to tell you that this team is struggling. No, this was washboard crap, and there is no captaincy on that team at all. You can wash your hands with that. No, there is a bunch of babies. There is no captaincy on that team. Even the assistant captains right now. I know McAvoy does everything, but I've heard the name called before. The way he looked this year was below McAverage. And then when you also get David Pastrnak, who's basically thunderboating his way and hitting every stride and doing everything he's doing to get his accolades, great. Hey, what are you doing to secure the team and build it up? What are you doing to get your team going? What are you doing to get your team motivated? What are you doing to actually give a rouse up? What are you doing to the team that makes the team the team? Nothing? That's the point I'm crossing. That's the point I'm looking at. That's the point that's making me pissed. See, everybody can sit there and say, David Pastrnak was one of the greater guys. No. His own accolades were fantastic. Not doubting that. The accolades of how he treated the team, especially when it came down to talking to the media, trash. Bruce Cassidy had a point on what he did. If he trashed somebody, the media knew about it because he said it. He told them he was fine with it. And why did he do it? Because he didn't want anything to be construed any different than what he said and what was said to the player. So this way, if anybody got wind of the fact that someone talked bad about it, he wanted it to be from his words, his mouth, and nobody else's. That's what they miss out of this whole thing. Okay? And Montgomery, he used to sit there. Well, I had a discussion with them. We talked about what we needed to do. And yes, there was a bad moment. And yes, we had to talk about that. And yes, he didn't do what Cassidy did, which was call them out. But he did it on a different level. He didn't say what he said. He did call them out. Well, I had a conversation with McAvoy. We feel to the fact that he could be better. We had to talk about that. It's things we're going to work on. Boom. Sacco at times just kind of looked lost, bro. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how anybody looked at him, what the feeling was or anything. But to me, in my knowledge of how I looked at Joe Sacco, when he was doing advocate things, he was on point with a couple of thoughts. Oh man, did he feel lost in translation? I swear he took the role right from Bill Murray. He looked spaced. It wasn't even a deer in the headlights. Okay, the headlights were 50 miles away, and that deer was screwed. That's one of the things I didn't like about Sacco. But what's the point of why I'm saying this? Coaching search. Oh man, I was way off. It's almost as close as when I almost got that person's last name and thinking they were Sammy Swami. Oh man, I looked down at the briefcase and Samsonite. Ah, yes, that's her name. Yeah. But yeah, the Bruins announced they're actively seeking a new head coach. So you took the interim of Joe. You didn't like Joe. I mean, I didn't really like Joe. You know, I thought he was a good on board guy. Start to the side, everything else. But like I said, anything he was bringing to the table was just kind of, ooh, boy. Ugh. So they're doing a new head coach. Great. Cool. But again, you're going to be implementing brand new things. You've made promises. You've made promises on the fan base. You've made promises about team performance. You've made off-season plans that you're basically going to like roll into. And now you're telling us a new coach is also involved. Those four elements, if you put them together, does not form Captain Planet. Does not perform Captain Hockey either. But it performs space garbage. I don't know why I put space in there. But it promotes garbage. Why? I'll tell you why. You have to do so much with finding the leadership. You have to refine the quota of the team. You have to find heart. I use that as a key word. You have to find the heart of this team. Sweeney doesn't have the power to do that. Neely, at times, the way he goes into players, he talks with players, there are a lot of things that Neely can do that brings out the heart and foundation of players when he does talk to them. Sweeney, on the other hand, I think he had the heart when he was with Harvard because he was just a head coach. He didn't care about the other hoorah. He didn't care about like the other stuff. If he was a GM of Harvard and I completely forgot, oh crap. But there was a lot that he did with the Harvard fan base, the Harvard boys that were there. Not in that way. That sounded completely wrong. But when he worked with the Harvard team, that team was built up. He had so much passion, so much aura. He looks like he's on his second term of presidency, and he looks like what Obama would look like after his second term. He looks worn down. He feels like completely gassed. This is why I was appointed to hearing Sweeney is being moved on. I would have been okay with Neely being on thin ice and Jacobs trying to clean up, mess on aisle 9. Completely okay with all that. What I'm not happy with is to the fact that Sweeney is still here. Neely is not on thin ice, well, that you know of. And that Jacobs is, he's on aisle 12 for a cleanup. And it's a small spill. Listen, if you're treating it like, hey, someone took a glass bottle of sauce and just dropped it, that's a mistake. But if you're going to treat it like aisle 9, where somebody decided to open a box of Rice Krispies and just tip them in the cart and watch them go all up the aisle, and then people are stepping on them, and now you've got a Rice Krispie dust track. Yes, exactly. That cleanup is 30 times worse. Because yes, you can sweep it, you can do it, but people are still going to step in it. The problem with the liquid in the glass is that people see it and they avoid it. It's easily avoidable. You did that all season with everything going on. Now what do you got? You got Rice Krispies on the floor. You got everything else going awry. What is your expectation here? There is none. Trash. Like I said, borderline trash. Well, I want to see what the Bruins do come hell or high water from here on in. Okay? Because in the method I'm seeing them right now, there needs to be something else that's done with them in order to liven up what they're doing and bring them to proper dominance where they are, how they are. And put them basically back to where they should be. Do I still feel to the fact that they're going to do anything like that with Sweeney? No. Do I still think to the fact that they can hold their ground with Neely, get someone in there that can work with him and be very aggressive, especially when it comes down to a coach? Yes. Now, is that saying to the fact within the next 3 weeks before the draft or anything else that you can fire the GM? Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that hold down. I'd love to see anything like that going around. That's what I'm looking at. That's what's going on. That's where my eyesight is. That's where everything I'm seeing is basically going, this needs to happen, and it needs to happen quickly. Because if Sweeney gets in there and Sweeney picks, I'm okay with the drafting process because I have a feeling he'll be okay. But when free agency rolls around and you're having him pick the free agents and he's going issue man here, this here, this here, that's going to red flag for me. In any one of those three things besides the coaching search, I'm not going to see hold water. I'm not going to see the fan base hold ground. I'm not going to see the team performance do a 180. I'm not going to see the offseason plans get strengthened as they go. But the coaching search shouldn't be a problem. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it goes. Woo! Let me get back to like better stuff. Hey, the Red Sox played today. The Red Sox winners 13-3. Can say yesterday because it was at like it's 1 a.m. right now when I'm recording this. And what's the general consensus? 13-3. Jaron Duran 4 for 6. Rafael Devers 2 for 6 with an RBI, 1 home run. Rob Refsnyder, 2 hits, 4 at bats, 1 home run. And then we had Ceddanne Rafaela popping in 5 RBIs with 1 home run, 2 hits, 4 at bats. There you go. Tristan Campbell also 2 hits, 4 runs for himself, 2 at bats, giving 2 RBIs, 3 walks. Tristan Campbell is basically, he's batting .305, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 29 hits. He's looking like an absolute star. You know who's not looking like an absolute star, though? And I think it's, I understand that, looking at the team that play in the Guardians, they're 15-12. I don't really think they're even holding their water. They're halfway like the Red Sox are. The Tigers are 18-10. The White Sox are 7-21. Ugh. But go back to the White Sox have 7 wins. 7 wins. I'm going to go back to their standings for a second. I want to look at the White Sox team. They won against the Twins. They won against the Red Sox. They won against the Red Sox. Yep. They won against the Red Sox as well. They won like 3 out of the 7 games were against the Sox. Does anybody see what I'm saying here? They beat the Twins 9-0. They beat the Angels. But the funny part is, they beat the Athletics once. That was spring training. The point is, you've played the Red Sox. Out of the teams that you've played in the 7 wins you have, 4 out of the 7 wins have come from other teams. Other teams. The Red Sox have lost to the White Sox 3 times. And the biggest one, I know this for a fact, was the big one that they really, really lost when they played them. Where is it? Where is it? I think it was the 8-4 loss or the 11-1 loss. But who's on the hot seat? Who's getting judged right away? Oh, Alex Cora. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Yes, Alex Cora was being looked at. Did he call a game right? Did he look at a situation properly? Did he make things go correctly? Let me think, Mr. Cora, did you? No. And that's my point. You had an 11-1 loss, and then you had a 3-2 loss the following night. You played them again 4 games. You tied. You won 3 out of the 4 games, but you still lost 8-4. This is the worst team in baseball. Worst team in baseball. Nope, sorry, the Rockies are the worst team in baseball. I did not realize that they were that low. Oh my God. Okay, the second worst team in baseball, and you have 3 losses against them. There's sometimes that I point out to the fact that Alex Cora has his head so far up his rectum, okay, he's not going to be Cameron Fry and pull out a diamond. Okay, he's going to have very strict issues. Do I still think that Alex Cora is the man for this team? No. Blame me for being a couch GM. I don't care on that one. Okay? But here's my thought, and I've been saying it for years. Not only to the fact that the Red Sox duped their own fan base into saying, oh, well, you know, I think to the fact that, like, we have an issue here and we need it addressed. And what was the addressing? The addressing exactly was that there was a cheater in the midst, and it was a coach. League came in, suspended him. You let him go. Mutual interest of ways. You know what that basically screamed to me? You're an idiot who's still going to hold this guy accountable, but yet you're still going to hold him on the payroll, but you're going to make everybody look like he's just gone for the year. So they had an interim coach. And then they interviewed some other guys. And then they pulled back who? Alex Cora. And what have they done with him since? Trash. Trash. School board trash. Okay. The last recent World Series appearance and win was 2018. Okay, that was a World Series win. Who was that with? Alex Cora. Okay? Is there anything to that? Yeah, they beat the Dodgers. But that's it. That's it. 2018 World Series, you had so many valuable people on that team that when you broke into it, that's the last time they were somewhat relevant. Yeah, they've made the postseason. Yeah, they've looked like trash. But yes, this was not Alex Cora's Red Sox. He inherited a team that was building for what it was. I'll put what my differences are with Jackie Bradley aside. They had probably one of the best tandems for the outfield. They had a really good, solid infield. What do they have now? They almost have that, but they're not playing to it. So where the guys were groomed to handle this and then had the coach step in, that's what you're missing. This coach is not addressed to handle this. He's not accustomed to handling it. Okay? If he's not cheating, can you really hold it to him? In Alex, do I trust? No. Said that since day one of this podcast. Will still say it till the day I go. And I've watched highlights. I've watched everything else, but I will not watch, except for when Chris Sale retook the mound for the Red Sox debut where he came back from injury. But other than that, from everything I've stated to Tony Maserati, I have not, under any circumstances, watched a full Red Sox game in entirety, front to back, focused on it to make sure what players were doing. No, I watch recaps. And the recaps basically give me everything I need. I watch 3 or 4 recaps, go over everything that I need to write down, and bring it to the table. Why do I do 3? Because it gives me a perspective on one guy's recaps versus another guy's recaps versus another guy's recaps. If they mimic each other, there's a win. Okay? And then I write my own conclusion. But I don't have to watch a game, and that's the point of it. I am not going to sit there and give the Red Sox any gratification for A, how they treated the fan base, B, how fans have basically turned their heads since it happened, and C, to the fact that they just signed this butt canoe to another friggin' contract where what's going to happen when it runs out, okay? Or somebody actually gets the hint that this guy does not belong running the Red Sox. When that happens, spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy. Hey, I got a better spicy thing for you. Let's look at the NFL draft. The NFL draft was Thursday night. And they had everything under the sun. They did I'm going to hold it to it. I thought the draft was incredible. Also, to the fact of talking with a friend of mine, listening to the fact of how we felt about Shedeur Sanders. When a guy thinks to the fact that he's hot stuff, okay, great. But when the guy actually gets his dealing back after being not so hot stuff, it makes me laugh. So what about Shedeur Sanders did change? Well, the trajectory of him being a top quarterback, because let me put it this way, I saw a lot of quarterbacks be picked over him, and he actually didn't get picked until the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns. Ooh. Who had already picked a quarterback, I think like 2 or 3, maybe even 1. But everybody expected like someone to pick up Shedeur Sanders. They didn't. But like looking at this, well, let me see like where they picked. Cleveland picked Mason Graham, which was their 5th pick. And then I think they picked again. Yeah, I think they picked in the 2nd round. And they still didn't take him. The funny part was that I'm sitting there watching the draft, and I saw the Giants traded back into the 1st round to pick number 25. And I'm like, oh, man, like, oh, the Giants are going to do something really big. They're going to take Shedeur Sanders. They're going to go into it. They took Jackson Dart from Mississippi. And then there's a statement afterwards stating that, well, Shedeur Sanders didn't have a good, moment with them. It was like he just didn't want to be there. So when you get somebody that comes out and does that, what happens? Well, they traded back in. They needed the quarterback. Jackson Dart's actually going to be like pretty good. I'm going to want to watch him. And the reason why, like, before I get into the draft like aspect, the reason why I bring up Shedeur Sanders, I was reading an article about something like upon someone calling Shedeur and saying to the fact that he was being drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, and come to find out that it was a joke, it was a ruse. But then finding out who it was, was probably the worst aspect of it. Trying to see like where I was actually looking at it. Yes. So Sunday afternoon, the Falcons issued a statement explaining that Ulbrich's, which is Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, his son Jax unintentionally came across the draft contact phone number for Sanders, which he found in an open iPad while visiting his parents' home. So basically, Jeff Ulbrich's son, who's the defensive coordinator, his son came in, found Shedeur's phone number, and decided to prank him that he got drafted by the Falcons. So now, is the NFL going to take like heed? That's going to be a funny story. Because of the Falcons taking action against Jeff Ulbrich? No. Now, he was doing everything he was supposed to. He had his iPad open. He was getting ready for the draft. He was getting like his notes and everything done. He was looking at potential, like everything that was going. He was in contact with everybody within the team. His son decided to take the phone number and make the phone call. Was it part of what Jeff did? No. Was he doing something? Yes. Did his son invade his privacy? Yes. If it was like, let me put it this way. If it was not on draft night, okay. If it was a month prior and he held the phone number, that's where you got to wonder how and why he got it and what he did. So that's the point of like what I'm saying is if a guy's doing his job, especially where it's so close to draft time and somebody just gets a phone number for a draft guy, it pulls a stunt like this. This is on the person. If there's a fine and anything that his son's going to pay, great. Have the league do it. If the Falcons take the penalty, that's kind of bupkis. You know, yes, there needs to be like some sort of repercussion, but you got to find ways of doing it that doesn't affect that team. I mean, what? Someone breaks into a house, you know, and then the guy pranks somebody because they got their phone number, and come to find out it's, you know, Kirk Cousins. Who are you going to blame? The team? Can't blame the guy. Like, what was he knowing? Like, he broke into the damn house. Like, come on. Give me something else, please, because, pathetic. But the pick-by-pick breakdown of everything that we're looking at, 11 selections in the 2025 draft. How do I think the Patriots did? Well, I'm not saying they did. They didn't do bad because, you know something? They got a lot of players that are ready to come into the NFL, put their work in, and be all-day starters. Okay? The first one that I'm really, really proud with, and I'll state why. And normally when I make fun of you, it's a reason that I got to give you credit. Okay? First round, number 4 overall, offensive tackle, Will Campbell, LSU. Okay? The dude is 6'6". He's 319. Okay? He's basically got core strength. He's a good anchor for pass protection. He's got smooth redirects. His grip is strong. He stays connected with all the blocks that he's going to throw out. Okay. He handles run. He handles everything. He's got upper body torque. He's a top 10 caliber guy. And he was against like the SEC. And just his character on and off field right now is money. Okay? Because he's got a work ethic that's insane. His speak and the way he talks, he acts like he's been in the league for like 5-6 years. It's not just, I want to go out here and I want to make a statement and I want to get my tackles and I want to break these guys off and no. You know what his first thing was? Like, first off, I'm looking at him and like it's him, Jonathan Kraft, and Robert Kraft, and he is a tower. Like 6'6", big boy. Like, Jesus Christ. You know, and I'll grant it to people. Like, you know, people have said, oh, man, his wingspan is too soft. If this guy digs in and throws down guys that are like friggin' 5, 6, 7 years in the league and he makes them look like pincushions, I don't care if he's a T-Rex with his little arms. Like, dude, if he's holding down, he's holding down. But the first thing he said is my job, a job one, is not just to the Patriots, it's protecting Drake May. That throws brownie points right off the bat. His second thing is he wants to work with Drake May. He wants to get on a good rapport. They've already had the good conversation. They basically broke it down. Like, once he got drafted, everything else came into play. And now what's going? He needs to build that rapport. He wants to be on the same page as Drake May and make mountains happen. That is something that, oh my God, the speech on that just picks volumes upon where this kid is going to go. And if he makes do over the next 3 years, he's going to be a top tier performer. And not only to the fact he's going to look like a stud, not to the fact that he already does, but it's going to put you on the map. And they drafted this guy. He came in. You know what it does? It makes Cole Strange look strange. He was a first-round pick. And he hasn't amounted much except for injuries. But now you're going to put this kid in, and he already wants to work with the quarterback. He wants to work with the other guys on the line. He can't wait to get to work. Like, his whole job right now is to protect Drake and do everything he needs to. Dude, do it. Do it. Reading in, like, they compared him to Jake Matthews out of Atlanta. So if he holds his water, he's going to have like a really, really good, football tenure. But man. The second round for number 38 overall. Oh, wait. I got to tell you guys this. So when I was watching the draft, Will Campbell was in this absolute forest green with white pinstripe jacket pants. I'm like, oh. And what does somebody say? Oh, you got to wear a suit and you got to look presentable instead of like wearing like jeans and a t-shirt because that's what he's used to. Like, he's flashy in the draft, and then when you see him at the Patriots Gillette the following day to meet with Robert Kraft and everybody, he's got this suit, he's got the tie, like, he looked pure money. And I've already made fun of him for the suit he wore on draft day, and like now he comes in like looking like Father of the Year suit. This guy's gonna be one of my favorite offensive guys. Like, I can't wait to root for him, because if he does good, oh my, I will get a jersey. I will. You heard it here. If he does good, I will get a jersey. Don't care. That's the way to go. Hey, we got a second rounder, number 38 overall. We got running back Trayvon Henderson from Ohio State. Now, the part that kicks me about this pick, did they need him? No. Was it good that they went out and got him? Yes. And a lot of people said, like, oh, Ashton Genty should have been the pick. Ashton Genty is going to be like the running back of running backs. Like, good. Let him go to the Raiders. Like, he already got drafted. First off, you needed Will Campbell first. Will Campbell is already looking like he's going to establish himself as exactly what you need for many years to come. and it's something that you're going to be working with. Secondly, Ashton Genty, yes, is probably going to be a stud. He's probably going to do his work. He's probably going to get the let out. But I need someone a little bit more in tune with other things. And I think when you pick a guy like Trevon Henderson, okay, I'm going to do my Chris Collinsworth. Now, here's a guy that is going to come in the league, and he's going to remind you of a Breece Hall, okay? I'm going to agree with it, okay? You've got definition with this guy, okay? Is he explosive playmaker that Elliott Wolf needed? Yes. Did you need to get a running back? No. But what was the benefit of actually adding Trevon Henderson? Okay. Henderson is a very speedy back. It's a change of pace to Stevenson. And the benefit, he's got breakaway speed. His 40-yard dash was a 4.43. He was in the 84th percentile. If he gets in the open field, he's basically gone. But does he remind you of somebody? Considering the one thing they're looking at is he's a three, like for third down, he's a sub package or a receiving back. Which he can pick up a blitz, sprint out to the side, and then be gone up the field. And he's got hands to boot. So what's the joyous part of that? You can do more with it. That is an explosive player. That's exactly what you want. This is what you talked about. So when Mike Vrabel came in, he sat with Elliott Wolf, and then they sat there and talked to the media and the fans and everything. They weren't blowing smoke. They stated they wanted playmakers. They wanted guys who wanted to come in, be gritty, be strange, be rowdy, and get in there and make everything happen. Okay? Same thing with the third round, the 69th pick overall. That's for my friend Jedi Chrome out there, who every single time it's, he sees a number 69, it's like, oh, hey, ooh. But they picked wide receiver Kyle Williams from Washington State. Now I know everybody's going to like, well, Topher, don't they have like all these wide receivers? They do. They do. They got Kayshon Boutte. They've got Pop Douglas. There are guys I don't want to remember right now. They got Kendrick Bourne still. These are guys that are going to start making splashes and making waves. And do I think some of them are okay? I mean, were they better than what's his name that went to N'Keal Harry that went to the Bears? Yes. But I think a Snickers bar ready to catch something is better than N'Keal Harry. But Kyle Williams, he's the best pure separator in the class. He's a 4.4 40-yard dash, and he's got open availability at all three levels. He averages 8.4 yards after the catch per reception. Okay. Last year, 70 catches, 2 yards shy of 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. He hunts free releases. Who does he remind you of? Rashad Bateman out of Baltimore. And if anybody remembers, like, Rashad Bateman wasn't the well-known guy, but he made the mark for who he was. Okay? And he ran, like, one of the things I'm reading here is he ran right by second overall pick Travis Hunter on a go route for a long touchdown in 2023. He's got speed, he's got poise, he's got premise, he's got I want that ball, I'm going to go get it. And it's, especially if you're matching with Stephon Diggs, I think this kid is going to be absolute gold. And with him and Diggs right there, and if Diggs teaches this kid how to do things on an NFL level, woof. That's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be very spicy. It's gonna be very, 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 very lucrative to watch. More for picks. Third round, number 95. Center guard Jared Wilson. He's out of Georgia. So they're hoping that Wilson can step in and do what David Andrews was doing throughout his career. As you know, the Patriots did separate from Andrews, which was very hurtful, not only for us as fans, but also for probably the front office, because David Andrews has been a long-time captain and also a long-time staple within, Patriots lore. So what is the benefit? Well, they did sign Garrett Bradbury, who's a veteran. And with Wilson being 21 years old, okay, he could serve as a bridge to Wilson at the pivot. Okay, Wilson playing guard. If it dictates it and everything is actually better. He's highly athletic. He's got a 9.84 relative athletic score at the combine. He's able to sink underneath defenders to leverage blocks. He's got a wider frame and a bend to anchor against bull rushers. He's considered the top pure center in the draft. And your New England Patriots now have him. Now, the benefit of this is that, yes, you are losing David Andrews. And yes, you are also granting a veteran center in Garrett Bradbury. What's the benefit to this kid being 21? Like you said, it allows him to get the understanding of, you could be at center for this game, you could be at guard for this down. But at some point when Garrett Bradbury does move on, because he is an older player, and I believe it was also a one-year deal for him, you're basically taking that out of the perspective, and you're giving the aspect that if Jared Wilson steps in and is the player that they expect him to be, is he going to have a starting job? Yes. Is he going to run away with it? Yes. Can that literally happen considering David Andrews himself? I believe he was not drafted too high. I mean, he was undrafted. There you go. So he went to Georgia from 2011 to 2014. He was an undrafted free agent. He was picked up by the Patriots in 2015. Highly touted career. So if David Andrews, who's monumental for being like one of the most absolute centers, Tom Brady's center upon things, okay? And he basically made his career to who he was being the center for Tom Brady. Now, where it's the Drake May era in Foxborough, Jared Wilson being a third round pick and coming in and being the center of the future, what is that going to entail? That's going to entail a lot. Because again, if he picks up and takes off, where he's going to go is being 21 years of age. He's young, he's virile, he's full of vinegar, he's ready to block. And you're getting all these powerhouses now to protect Drake May. Oh, hey Joe, there's noises, and I ain't even talking about food. Oh. 4th round, 106th pick. Safety, Craig Woodson out of California. They have a pro comparison of Cam Bynum. Woodson was the first and only pick that broke from consensus. It's basically what they're saying out of here. Woodson was 197th on the consensus board and wasn't on anyone's radar as a top 10 safety in the draft. Woodson played in California's split safety heavy defense. Woodson played split safety, single high safety, and is rotated into the box and short zone. He has experience as a center fielder in the deep part of the field. He also covers tight ends, but man coverage is not currently considered a strong suit of his game. So he's mainly... he'd probably be a zone defender. He's got good play speed. He's a 4.45 and a 40-yard dash. He's adequate at open field tackling abilities. So Woodson basically fits the mold for a true free safety. Which would allow guys to get back to like some of their natural spots. Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers being like more safety allocated to where like you get a free safety that would basically take for Woodson's area. I don't think people expected him to garnish in the 4th round. I think they were expecting him to probably be later, but the Patriots saw something in him that they wanted him, so they went out and got him. Also in the 4th round, they drafted number 137 overall defensive lineman Joshua Farmer. He's a Florida State product. So the free agent addition to the team was Milton Williams and the edge rusher Harold Landry. So they're basically going to take Farmer, and also with the defensive coordinator Terrell Williams and Mike Vrabel, they're basically going to work upon this guy to develop him as a pure lineman. What's the benefit of it? Well, Terrell Williams and Mike Vrabel, they're known for developing these guys. They're known for taking the guys that are like right there and stating, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. and you'll be able to handle perfectly. So they showed pre-draft interest in him. They basically gave him a 30 visit. He's a rotational defender as a hand in the dirt defensive end, interior pass rusher. He's got those excellent length of arms. He's got the snap quickness and the power to actually penetrate blockers, creating separation. So he's basically got everything that you would want. So kudos to picking him up. By the way, that was defensive because I think they went three offensive guys, and then they went 3 defensive. Because the third one is right here, was the 5th round, which was the edge rusher Braden Swinson. He was the best value pick for the Patriots on day 3. He was 68 on a consensus board. So Swinson falling to the 5th round due to inconsistent film against the run. He is an older prospect at 23. But they also reported the Beast draft guide was Swinson's pre-draft interviews would be important for teams to get to know him. He's known as a pass rush specialist potential. And he's logging 8.5 sacks and 60 total pressures coming from 2024. So he's a speed to power rusher, good burst and length. He's got that initial contact pop, which you want. The rookie can basically split the pocket. He's got a ghost move, inside counters, great bend to flatten the corner. So he can power through blocks in the run game. He can basically take on tight ends. So picking up a guy like this definitely improves the pass rush. Definitely gives them a little bit more stability, depending upon how he's going to look. 6th round, 182 overall. Hey, we took a kicker. Andres Borregales. I'm not going to lie. I've seen a couple pictures of this guy. It looks like he's got a straight up Dirty Sanchez going right across it. And it's not like the light poop. It's the dark, this is close to black poop. It's perfect because the couple pictures that I see, it's that small incline going up to the lip from the side part of the lips. It goes up, it goes straight across, and then just goes right down to the side. But I guess he can kick a ball too. He has a powerful, consistent leg, with 6 makes over 50 yards in his career. He's 18 of 19 on field goals. Some people do say it's not that hard to kick. Try to be a kicker, okay? Even listening to interviews of Pat McAfee, who he's a balls in, balls out, friggin' athlete and all. But even he says, for being a kicker, it ain't no picnic. Just trajectory, leg speed, everything that you're doing to be a kicker. There's more to it. So, do you have to be up front with what you're doing? Yes. Does it make sense for where you're leading? Yes. Do they feel like they got the right guy? Sure. Then looking at the 7th round, 220th, an outside tackle, Marcus Bryant of Missouri. 7th round, 251st, long snapper Julian Ashby is from Vanderbilt. And 7th round, 257 overall, defensive back Kobe Minor. Kobe Minor being Mr. Irrelevant in the 7th round trade with the Chiefs. He is the final pick in the NFL draft. He's a 5'11", 102-pound corner who primarily played on the outside last season. So it was a nice, good pick. Who knows what they do to him, but he is the last pick of the draft. Look, I'm giving this an A-. Okay. Can I question a couple things that, like, they kind of lacked? They didn't go for things? Sure. Do I know direction of which way to go? No, because I'm not being a couch GM and I don't care. You know what I do see, though? I do see guys that went above and beyond, took some heavy players that needed to be drafted and could potentially be studs, i.e. the wide receiver, the running back. This is not your This is not your Bill Belichick Patriots here, folks. Okay? And I know a lot of people came out and said, well, we got to see what Vrabel's going to do and how he's going to work with Elliott Wolf and what's the benefit. Listen, right now, if you look at Mike Vrabel for what he picked, he looks like a champion right now with everything that he did with Elliott Wolf. There's nothing abound that says to the fact that this was horrible. This also wasn't anything that says oh man, whether it was Wolf, whether it was Vrabel, whether they had guys in the room who said hey, let's draw straws and whoever wins gets this pick. Great. Okay, because this is the better draft that I've ever seen from the Patriots in a very long time. Okay, you went after an offensive tackle, exactly what you needed. You went for a running back. Yes, Ramondre Stevenson is your running back, but you didn't need the potential of Ashton Gentry to do it. You needed a third down back, a James White type of back that'll handle and coincide with everything you need to get done, especially when you want to throw somebody off. And are you passing it? Are you throwing it? Passing mean you're throwing it off, you're just passing it over to your right. Are you throwing it downfield? Or are you just hike, long snap, kicking right over to him, and this way he just breaks up field? Because if this kid does what he did in Ohio, it's going to make a mark. And it's going to hurt offenses. And it's going to hurt because it's damn well known that this offense, if it chooses to go in the right direction, is really going to hurt you. And Drake May coming in his second year, oh my God. Even the wideout. Just taking a wide receiver at third, not first, not second, but third. And when you look at the benefit of them, okay, Kyle Williams, he's got the tenacity to do nasty things. Listen, the Jaguars made a splash in the draft, okay, by trading 5th for 2nd. They gave up some stuff and they went out. They got Travis Hunter, who's known as a wide receiver / cornerback. He's basically going to be an all-time go-at, just like Deion Sanders was. The biggest particle of this is when you get a guy like Williams who broke Travis Hunter for a touchdown, those are things that are going to etch in someone's head. Hey, what did you do during your collegiate level? Well, that guy who went number 2? Yeah, I burned the crap out of him. What do you mean? It's I scored a touchdown. That you carry with you. That's something that sticks into your plays. How are you going to interact going forward? Well, you're going to be tough. You're going to be wanting, and you're going to get in there and be everything you need to be. That's your consensus. That's where your flow is. That's where everything that you're looking at is going to be. I can't fault you for it. I can't hold it against you for it, but you're basically barking up the right tree. That's what I want to see. And that's basically the take for there. Patriots look great draft-wise. Vrabel, very happy with his decisions. Elliott Wolf, very highly touted for his decisions. Robert Kraft, lot of words when he met like the first round pick, but in general, he seemed very Robert Kraft about everything that was basically going on. Do you get any difference with Robert? No. And there's like, not saying there's anything wrong with the way Robert does it, but there's some stuff there. But here's some beauty stuff though. Okay. Now, we talked about the Celtics. We talked about everything like that. NBA finals are going on. Not the finals in general, but the NBA playoffs. Do I want to talk about the Celtics, or do I want to go into like how much like the league sucks this year? I've seen so much. I've taken so many notes, and like I do want to wrap up. I don't want to keep you guys from like listening to me babble and everything like that. It's been like a really, really great episode. I'm not gonna lie. I've been like on point about a couple things, and I've been like grinding to show you stats and everything like that I basically built for the time that I was away from like the last time. Okay. But this Magic Celtic series, do I understand Orlando's take on wanting this to be the series of series? It's going to be like a barn burner. Do they think Orlando in 6, Orlando in 7? Yes. Do I like the people that go out there and be like, oh yeah, Boston in 4? Watch a game, dude. As much as I really want to sit there and say the fact that, like, if anybody sits there, oh yeah, I knew they were going to do it in 4. No, you didn't. Listen, the part of being a fan came out, and you were just like, oh yeah, Celtics in 4 because they can't lose. That's the tipping point for me. Am I looking at the Magic? Did I say 5? Did I say a possibility of 6? Yes. It's been 4 games. So those guys have been sitting there. Well, Celtics in 4. Thankfully, they didn't include the rest. Your mom's a wonderful lady. But the Celtics in 4 would have been impressive, but I would have questioned it. Because when I'm looking at the series, Boston game 1 was phenomenal. The part that I questioned in game 1, where was Jason Tatum? Where was Jaylen Brown? Okay. Drew Holiday did a lot of work. Derek White did a lot of work. Creighton Pritchard controlled a lot of the ball. Game 2, no Tatum. Question mark on an injury. Doubtful for the game. Jaylen Brown stepping up. There was so much monumental stuff. We had a bleeding unicorn on the court. Kristaps Porzingis getting hurt. To the fact that this man bleeds for the Celtics, I'm just impressed with. Okay, and I'm not saying that because I saw the quote somewhere. I'm literally saying it, okay, is because that quote went along with the word appreciate about 5 times how he feels about Kristaps Porzingis. I'm going to tell you straight out, Kristaps Porzingis, when healthy, when controlling, when on the floor dominant, will stick and stone in every manner, way, and form to show you what needs to be done for a run like this. It was fantastic. It's what you needed. Okay? Game 3, you go home to Orlando. Celtics are going away. They are one of the best road teams of the year. And everybody got up and I'm, see, the magic. Time out. I'm going to state this very, very easily. You were playing into the Celtics' hands. And why am I going to state that? Game 1, the Magic came out and they lost 103-86. Game 2, without Jason Tatum, they beat you by 9. Game 3, you go into your building, you instantly drop your drawers and show how big your dick is because you beat the Celtics by 2. Let me rephrase that. You showed you were the alpha male for a moment because you beat a Celtics team that stepped into your yard for the first time in the playoffs, and you beat them by 2. Why do I say this way? Because if you actually look at the score today, again, by 9, Celtics 107, Magic 98. The Magic are a very young, very wholesome team. They have a lot to deliver, and they have some really good aspects. The one credit I will give them is their gameplay is magical. No pun intended. However, they make the same mistakes that I say about any team. You trash talk, you best be able to go out there and pick it up. They haven't. They started trash talking. They started getting into it. Sean Gilchrist-Alexander was one of the biggest ones. He wanted to let you know where he stood, how he carried it. Oh, I'm sorry, not Gilchrist-Alexander, Caldwell Pope. 3 name people, it's confusing. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. So when you get a guard like that, and don't get me wrong, Caldwell Pope is a very, very skilled player. But when he doesn't really show up, you got to really question the motive right there. Okay? I mean, he played 32 minutes, and this was during the 95-93 victory. He had no points. He had 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 32 minutes. So you mean to tell me that your bench scored more than your starting guard? And your starting guard is the one that's running his mouth. Game 2, where they lost by 9, okay, Caldwell Pope had 35 minutes, 4 rebounds, no assists, 3 points. Again, you're going to tell me the guy who's starting and running his mouth, who's not showing up for these things, you can't make this up. Today, okay, 107-98. He had 8 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Again, you started the series by running your mouth thinking that you were the stud man. Okay? Paolo Banchero, 31 points. Franz Wagner, your forward, 24 points. Corey Joseph, your guard off the bench, 12 points. He actually might have been the other guard. Anthony Black, 10 points. Jonathan Isaac, 4 points. Like, this is the point, no pun intended again, that I'm talking about. You don't trash talk a team that is just coming off an NBA championship win and thinking you're going to walk into their house and dominate them just because you dominated them over the year by 1 game. That's pathetic. Okay? Because I'm looking at this. Jason Tatum, 37 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists. Al Horford, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. The unicorn Tingus Pingus, okay, 19 points, 5 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, 21, 11 rebounds. Derek White, 18 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Sam Hauser, 6 points. They were probably threes. Luke Cornett, 1 assist, 1 rebound. Do you see the focus of what I'm showing you? Because I will tell you, and this is where people do not understand, and they just basically frown on the Celtics, and it's shame on them. I've listened to, and mind you, I'm going to name drop here. I've listened to ESPN. I've listened to a lot of guys, Sports Hub wise, that call things out with this. I've listened to guys on EEI. I've listened to guys like that are just in the radio, okay, that, you know, from ESPN to, you know, NBA.com to, you know, insert news station here that wants to talk about the Celtics. And the one thing they state is still to the fact that they're not sure the Celtics are going to do it. I have a feeling the Celtics are going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, or they make it to the big dance again. And I'll tell you why in my own opinion. If you think you've got them beat by the Jays, you have now dropped your guard to Al Horford, Porzingis, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday, that will cut you down and wipe the floor with you. You then have Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, that will come off the bench and deliver dagger after dagger and defend you with no tomorrow, and you have no answer for it. This is what happened when everybody thought that Dallas was going to be the team that was going to get to the dance, take on the Celtics, and mop the floor with them. Because why? Oh, well, we have Kyrie Irving. And we also have Luka Doncic. That's all you got. Because those two guys don't play D. And where you have to pick up their defense, there's your hole. See, I can understand why Jason Tatum is somewhat overlooked as an MVP. And maybe Boston people can't understand it nor want to call it out. But other places, like, you know, when you're talking about TNT, when you're talking about the NBA itself, when you're talking about ESPN or you're talking Fox Sports, their definition of Jason Tatum is weak. This is a guy that comes out and gives everything for his team. Okay? He may not want to be the de facto leader, but I still say to the fact that MVP last season in the finals should have been his and not Jaylen Brown's. Because where Jason Tatum took himself away from scoring to be the benefit of his team in the finals, you saw rebounds, you saw assists, you saw the ball movement, you saw everything you needed to see that helped his teammates score and win. The narrative that you had to focus on was the overall, oh, you got to have the points. You got to have this. No. Take away a lot of the dishes and feeds that Jason Tatum gave Jaylen Brown. You don't have the points he has. Now, if Jason Tatum put up the shots, he may have hit it within 50 to 60% of his shots, like he normally does. But it was the NBA Finals. You have to direct where you're going to go. You have to show the tenacity of what your expectation is. And if you know that you're going to have your best guys blowing up your spot, you can rack up assists, you can rack up steals, you can rack up blocks, you can rack up rebounds, and you can basically punch it right down their throat and win games. They did that. Now, Jason Tatum out for game 2. Jaylen Brown showed to the fact that he can step up and make monuments happen. He did that. Now, when you're looking at everything else, everybody's writing off the Celtics, but some people still believe to the fact that they're going to make it. I am one of those people. Give me the LeBron James-Luka Doncic matchup. I want to see Luka lose 2 series to none. I want to see LeBron James get to the NBA Finals, have the refs thrown out of the building because they're watching LaFlop just take everything in stride, and still watch the Celtics dominate. You put Luka Doncic on a team again that does not focus on defense. They focus on offense only. When you take their offense away because you have a well-rounded defensive team, they are going to destroy you. I said during my last podcast, not the WrestleMania one, but the one before, when I was talking about the NBA Finals, the teams I fear, Orlando was probably going to give us a run for our money. I haven't seen it yet because they've been all talk, no bark. Game 3 was an exception. They won. I'm not holding it because it's a short win. But when you look at the other teams, Oklahoma City has basically been showing prominence. I'm liking their game. I'm liking their attitude. I'm liking their demeanor. The other team, which I still have a feeling we're going to beat, but we're going to go 7 games, is Cleveland. Because Cleveland has been that monument. They have put up defensive numbers. They've put up offensive numbers. They've taken on everybody in the league and just basically shown that they can play the game. And it's disgusting. You know who I take back for actually giving that same praise to? Houston. I've watched so much between Houston and Golden State, but then also between the Timberwolves and the Lakers. Both of those, the Lakers and the Rockets, have been trash. I saw a guy go up for a layup. He came into the thing. His hand came down as an accidental, which was coming down from where it is. And it hit LeBron James in the face, and he landed on the ground, flopping his ass off, crying. They called an offensive foul. So you mean to tell me that you basically broke Starboard Rule 1? Because looking this up, if you move under the basket and the offensive player makes contact with you, it's a foul on you. If the player is making a basket and is coming down, if you are in the way of said player, you are obstructing his descent. It is a foul on you. But to the fact that his hand came down and quote unquote slapped. And this is like baby bitch slap. Right across LeBung's face. And he did the whole, yeah. I wish I was on camera right now. Like, hold on. It's not even working. But he jerked right back after him coming down from his dunk. And the refs were like, oh, LeBron, are you okay? We've got to hold you. Do you need us to rub your wee-wee? If anybody's noticed, I'm not a LeBron James fan. Okay? I'll state it here first, and I'll state it here very easily. MJ was the GOAT. You can really get over it. Okay? MJ had all the stats, all the class, all the everything. LeBron James is just going for accolades. That's great. That's nice. Accolades get you places by showing you the fact that you're a damn good player. But you know what it doesn't show you? It doesn't show your class. It doesn't show your it doesn't show your quality or how you behave yourself around everything going on. LeBron James has been trash for the past 7 years, and nobody wants to share it. I do. LeBron James so far in the series, if I open up a tab, I will literally look at it. Los Angeles Lakers. So, right now, Minnesota leads 3-1. 3 games to 1. Luka Doncic has 38 points. LeBron James has 27. But yet the Timberwolves, for whatever reason, are still kicking their friggin' ass. You really want to tell me moving Luka Doncic and LeBron James together? Okay? Like I said, Luke is a monumental player. He averages 28 points, 8.2 rebounds, 7.7 assists. His field goal is 45%. Okay? But when you're looking at every single aspect between both of them, LeBron is going to be a very, very special player. Is he MJ quality? No. Luka himself is going to be a very, very good player. Is he LeBron quality? No. Is he MJ quality? No. Luka Doncic has a game that people like. You score. Who doesn't like it when you score? When you score a basket, everybody like raves. Hey! When you score a goal in hockey, people cheer. When you score a goal in football, getting a touchdown and kicking a field goal, people cheer. When you're around the water cooler and you tell them about like the hot chick that you took home from a bar and you're like, you scored. You get high fives. You're congratulatory. But if that's all you can do, here, I'm going to run up my rebounds. I'm going to run up my assists. I'm going to run up my points. Hey, by the way, can you block that guy? Huh? Yeah. Can you defend that guy? Why? What do you mean why? Oh, I'm going to put up 40 points right now. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you can put up 48 points. But two guys over there already have 30 each. Oh, so I got to put up 60 points? We have to play two, dude. You're not stopping them. And with you not stopping them, you're allowing them to score. And therefore, it's destroying what you're doing. Well, yeah, that's fine, though. That's the point of how this goes. When you can't play defense, you can't do anything. Now, this guy, for his salary, makes $43 million a year. $43 million to not play defense. Cool. Now, I will say this to any kid who wants to sit there and look at anything. Luka Doncic is a very special player. You're going to like him for his attitude. You're going to like him for his accolades. You're going to like him for like who he is and how he scores. And it's going to make a lick of difference how you look at everybody else, like as you go into the NBA playoffs or even the NBA itself. Is Luka ever going to win a championship? It's a good question. It depends on what LeBron James does. It depends on how the Lakers go forward, down to the fact that they have Luka Doncic and what they can do for the following year or years to come. Luka is only 26 years of age. Okay? He is a newly formed Laker. And the Lakers now have to address to the fact of why, in truth, did they give him up? Because here's a question that I see. Would Dallas be in the same position they are, or would they be worse with Luka Doncic? Because that's what I'm looking at right now. The Dallas isn't even in it. And the Grizzlies were already eliminated by the Thunder. Cleveland leads the Heat 3-0. Pacers are beating the Bucks 3-1. The Knicks are beating the Pistons 3-1. I expected that series to at least be a grinder. It's been all right. Rockets and Warriors, Golden State is winning 2-1. I expected that to be at least like in the Rockets' favor. But like I said, they've been playing like trash. Come to find out why. The Lakers and the Timberwolves, like I said, Minnesota is leading 3-1. Here's a tidbit for those who don't really follow NBA. The Timberwolves are the 6th seed. The Lakers are the 3 seed. That tells you a lot within what I'm saying. The Nuggets and the Clippers have probably been one of the most monumental series because the bucket put up by Jokic in the final seconds of the Nuggets-Clippers game. And who was it? Oh, crap. I forget his name. I'm going to find it right. Oh, yeah. Alex Gordon. Aaron Gordon. Just grabbing that ball and dunking it to get it in where it had to be reviewed. Gorgeous. That's NBA. That's at its finest. And just looking at that, I mean, I'm not going to say anything wrong. Like, the Clippers are playing great ball. The Nuggets are playing great ball. You know, I mean, I expected that series to be like a go-getter because they're the 4th and 5th seed. Did I expect the Thunder to walk in and just take it? Sure. Is there going to be a challenge between the 4th and the 5th? Yeah. Now, if the Timberwolves go forward and the Warriors go forward, that's a 6th and a 7th seed team that dethroned a 2 and a 3. Cavaliers are the first seed on the East Coast. They're already winning against the Heat 3-0. Celtics and Magic, Boston's winning 3-1 right now, and they're the 2nd seed. The Magic is the 7th. The Knicks are the 3 seed. They're winning against the Pistons 3-1. The Pacers are beating the Bucks. Pacers are the 4th, Bucks are the 5th. I also expected that series to be a little tight because they were both on the monumental praise. Now here's the harder side. Looking at the Western Conference, the 4th and the 5th seed will play the Thunder. Right now, if you called it right now just to move the teams forward, you're looking at the Warriors beating the number 2 seed and the Timberwolves beating the number 3 seed. So now you've got the 6th and the 7th seed going toe-to-toe, who will take the winners of the Thunder and whoever win between the Nuggets and the Clippers. It's a damn grind right there. Cavaliers are probably going to play Indiana on our side. Monumental game. Indiana's a damn good team. They've got damn good ball movement. They've got scorers. They've got people who can toss the ball around. The Cavaliers have good defense. They have good muster, everything they can behold. The Knicks are also a good team. What have we done, though? We've schooled the Knicks all year. But is this playoff basketball? Yes. The regular season is just the warm-up for the postseason. And when the postseason comes around, that's when you got to care. And right now, that's what I'm looking at. And of all other things, you got to start caring. You got to start getting your muster out of there. Because those games are going to make a big difference. And the Celtics, if they play the Knicks, yeah, they need to show Celtics basketball still exists in the playoffs as they go. But now that I got off topic, the one thing I want to swing back to is when anybody, and as I look at this, whether you're NBA or anybody talking about Jason Tatum, Jason Tatum is an MVP of the league. The only reason why nobody in the NBA sees it is because the people around him. Jason Tatum doesn't have to go out and score 25 points a game, 30 points a game, 40 points a game. What he needs to do is he needs to control the team and make sure that the fact that they have an ample opportunity for everything that they do. Whether the ball goes to him or to the fact that the ball goes through him. That is the hugest piece that controls everything. And people will sit there and say, oh, Nikola Jokic, he's the MVP of the team. Really? He's got Aaron Gordon that sits in there. He's got a lot of other role players that sit in there. Don't sit there and put Jokic over Tatum. It's pathetic. Oh, well, Giannis, he works that team. Yeah. So does Tatum. Only difference is that when it's Giannis versus Tatum, it's the same thing when people will say, oh, you all Embiid. MVP of the league. Really? Gee, he kind of quivers when he goes up against Tatum. The difference that I see is when you looked at Kobe was all energy. And he played with his energy. Whether he scored 15 a night, whether he scored 50 the night. Kobe was Kobe. And he wouldn't be Kobe without his teammates. And his teammates wouldn't be where they were without Kobe Bryant. Yes, you can win a game or two without Jason Tatum. Do you need Jason Tatum? Yes. Can you take Jaylen Brown out and still win? All day. Can you take Kristaps Porzingis out and win? Yes. Can you do it with Drew? Yes. Can you do it with Derek White? Yes. Can you do it with Peyton Pritchard? Yes. There's always those moments that'll make things go. And if the league does not want to understand that Jason Tatum is an NBA MVP, that is the league's fault. Because those who are suckling the teat of LeBron James really need to get over it. That man has been in the league for 20-something years. And he's starting to act like he deserves everything around him. He doesn't. When players start to fade, and they fade away into the night as they go, they can still ball, they can still play. But do they need to do it at the level that they're doing it because it takes away from other people and other chances of what they're doing? No. Because in some ways, that's what LeBron James did to the Lakers. Disrespectful. Distasteful. When you call to ransack the team because you want to get certain players in and you have the worst team in the league, or one of them, it's a shame. Look, bottom line of this, and I won't say this as a Celtics fan, the Celtics themselves are a very, very good team. They're talented. They're quality driven. They're champions. Can't take that away because they won it. It's going to be very hard for them to go back to back. But it's going to be even harder for any team to go up against them. Okay? Orlando basically had their number all year. And look where Orlando is, on the brink of elimination. Cleveland is one of those teams that had a little bit of a hard stretch, but they were one of the most dominant teams in the league. I'd still have to put my money on the Celtics. And I don't bet. If I look at the Celtics and Knicks, if the Celtics continue to do what they do because they've played ball like this all year, and now they're going into Madison Square Garden and also the Boston Garden and playing their game by their rules, still picking Boston, but I will tell you straight up, I'm picking Boston in 6. Unless the Knicks squeeze out a really good one, I still say Celtics in 7. Main one for Celtics in 6. The extrative is Celtics in 7. Finale of it, the Celtics winning the series. And if they do go in and play Indiana in the finals again, or they do play, the Cavaliers, I think they'll have a harder time with Indiana. I don't think they're going to have that much of an issue because one of the Jays was missing in 2 of the contests against Cleveland. And right now you have both Jays knocking on the doors with all cylinders ready to go. And the first time that they played both Jays in a full-blown fight, they lost their first game. So, yes, I do have faith in the Celtics. I do have a carry to the Celtics. When it gets down to the NBA Finals and whoever it is on the West Coast versus the Celtics, you got to put that work in. Because right now, the East Coast is looking like the most dominant friggin' team for anything that they're throwing at. Because the way they're acting, the way they're coming in. The one thing I'll say about the West is they have pure grit. Okay? A 6th seed and a 7th seed that is grinding to the fact of eliminating a 2nd and a 3rd seed. That's power. That's control. That is basketball. Yeah, I just went there for about a good long minute. But what did we learn, though? We learned to the fact that, like, there are so many things that you can sit there and understand. You know, people are looking at the Celtics again like underdogs, like they don't belong in certain ways. They know they're a great team. And yeah, I'll call out Kendrick Perkins because the minute he said, oh, you know, Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, they can't go. Oh, my God. Kendrick Perkins, do me a favor, okay? Call out the remainder of the league or whatever you do. Your time in Boston has been completed. Okay? And you've done nothing but sour to the city since you left, since you've been ousted, since you've been orchestrated out the door. Don't think you know this team because this is not the team that you won a championship with. This is the secondary team that won a championship despite you running your gums. Kendrick Perkins is kind of one of those guys that makes me sick. Why? Because he's, again, somebody who thinks he knows everything about the sport, but doesn't. He thinks he knows a team, the ins and outs, the way they go, the way they move. Because, you know, when I was a Celtic, we don't care, dude. You did very minimal on a Celtics team to win a championship. Okay? Did you do anything that basically would make me go, ooh? No, you didn't. Okay, you played for 14 years. Okay? In 2009, 2010, you were Defensive Player of the Year. Congrats. I think your career high in points wasn't much. You could rebound, great. Like, looking in Boston, you had a 6.4. If I'm looking at this right, it's 6.4 points per game. Okay? You were not the most monumental friggin' thing on the planet. You were big, you could block, but you weren't the whole thing that was behind that team. So when you come out and you act like, oh, yeah, I know the Celtics. Dude, if you were Paul Pierce, I'd believe it. If you were Ray Allen, who has a right to have an axe to grind with the team, I'd believe it. If you were Kevin Garnett, I'd believe it. You? Dude, I'd almost believe Big Baby, for crying out loud, before you. I'd believe Glenn Davis over you. I think that man had more friggin' points Yeah. He had more points in the Clippers than Kendrick Perkins did like when he played at Cleveland. Yeah, he averaged 8 points a game. I mean, he also had like higher rebounds than Kendrick on average. And this is also a guy who defends LeBron James. Hold on. I'm pulling up his Twitter account right now. Rookie mistake by JJ. Bron and Luka were dead tired. You have to find time to get them some rest. Especially a 40-year-old LeBron James who's in his 100th season. It's not the first time he's done it, not the second time he's done it. Dude, clock control, just because LeBung wants to go back in does not mean to the fact you have to put him back in. You're the coach, you dictate the tone. That's the point. But again, when Kendrick Perkins is making comments like that, you know, dude, control. Everyone out here blaming LeBron and Luka for their fourth quarter performances. Hell no, they did everything they could. No, it's called they don't have the right move. Look at this. No one else to cover Perk. They just can't afford the luxury like other teams in the playoffs. Right, because you put everything behind two guys. I'm gonna look up the stats really quick for that game really quick. Okay. Los Angeles Lakers. They lost by 3. Luka had 38. Rua Hachimura had 23. LeBron had 27. Dorian Finney-Smith was the only other guy besides Austin Reeves who really did anything rebounds-wise. Jason Hayes, their center, had 3. Austin Reeves, their guard, had 7. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's a power forward. Okay, so he's a big guy. Makes sense. I had no idea who he was. 8 rebounds. But he also had 6 assists and 6 points. Austin Reeves, 17 points. You go to the Timberwolves. Julius Randle, 25, 3 and 7. 3 assists, 7 rebounds. Jaden McDaniels, 16 points, 3 assists, 11 rebounds. Rudy Gobert, 5 points, 10 rebounds. He did his job. Very simple, grab a board. Anthony Edwards, 43 points, 9 rebounds. Mike Conley Jr., didn't do much. Naz Reid, 12 points, 4 rebounds. Terrence Shannon, I'm taking it he's a big guy. Yeah, he's 6'6", so he's probably like a power forward, maybe a guard. Either which way, that man went out there. 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Like, these are guys that when you go down the list, they're working together. You got LeBron and friggin' Luka who are looking for points. You want to know the point that I'll make to you? Pun intended. LeBron James, 27 points, 8 assists, 12 rebounds. The whole team basically did nothing else. Austin Reeves had 7 rebounds. Dorian Finney-Smith had 8 rebounds. And then that's it. Rui Hachimura had 5. They're being outplayed defensively. Luka Doncic, 38 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Do you see my point now? When you control Luka, you make LeBron on his own. When you make LeBron on his own, he will get tired. He will be gassed. He is, as Kendrick Perkins said, a 40-year-old man. Yeah. That's about half the point of like what I'm saying, though. So when you break this down, that's a lot to break down. So when someone's also showing me a picture of Anthony Edwards holding a baby LeBron James and a baby Luka Doncic, basically making them babies, and Anthony Edwards is their daddy, that's the part I can joke about, because the point of the matter is that he's going out there and showing it. Okay? Luka Doncic throughout the season is amazing. But there's one difference I'll always say, no matter what, between like the amazingness. Like I said, having problems all points now. The point is simple. When you get to the playoffs, yeah, it's all in all, it's gonna hurt because you have no method of control. You have no method of like saying. So when you don't defense and you don't play the game, but you think you know it all and you're gassed, dude, think to the fact of everything that the regular season is what it is. When it comes down to playoffs, it comes down to everything else. Nothing but a simple man. And with that, I'm going to make simple predictions because I one time did this and it was okay. I'm going to make it again. I'm believing Boston closes it out. I got to see where they are. So the Magic will be at the Garden. Game 5. It is tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. I have a feeling to the fact that it's going to be like an 8+ point blowout. Celtics finish it off. The Magic go home. And basically, we just wait for like the future of everything else. But like I said, I have my monument, I have my moments, I have my pride, I have everything else I'm looking at. So I'm hoping to the fact that this goes the way it goes. Okay. Um, you know, we'll just see how everything is. We'll see which way everything goes into. Oh man, what a weekend for sports. Proud of the Patriots for their draft. Disappointed in the Bruins for like how they're acting with the fan base and like how everything else is. I expected like really much better with it. Um, the Red Sox. I mean, they're showing the grit, but they're still midway. It's still early in the season. Um, but I am putting together everything for what my expectation is when we hit here Thursday. So Thursday night is going to be the next stream night, next podcast, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to have my numbers and everything for like how everything basically broke down. We're going to talk Red Sox. It's basically going to be the month tier that I've been talking about. I stated I'm going to let the Red Sox do their thing. I'm going to let them like play out. I'm going to let them be where they are because after the first month, now it's here you are for the month. Now I want to see what you do because it's technically the beginning of the season. You had your spring training where you played every young person that you could slam a ball off of. To now you're playing the big guys who are in there playing, doing everything they do, and now you get the long ball going on. So, in some way, shape, or form, it's put up or shut up because this is the time, this is the place, this is where you are going to carry yourself. And you got to start making your mountains, you got to start making your bones because if you don't, you're going to be on the outside looking in, and it ain't the way to look. Okay, I can see you as a sub 500 team, and I don't want to look at you because you have amazing talent. Do I have a feeling to the fact that a couple things need to be adjusted? Yes, but we'll go over that on Thursday. I've got some cool things in the pipeline. The stuff for WrestleMania didn't work out. Hopefully, like everybody, like listens to it. If you think it's winded, cut it off. Okay. But hopefully, this one kept your mind a little bit at ease, catching you up for sports and everything. You have me on in the background with your work or anything. Like I said, I adore every single one of you, whether you are a casual person that just puts me on because you're doing me a favor, because you're a friend of mine, dude, you are an amazing human. If you're actually a fan, you like listening to me rant, you like listening to me go on about like absolute complete craziness for sports. First off, you are crazy with me. But secondly, don't think the fact that I don't every which way, shape, or form love that accountability. What also there's no words I can actually say how grateful I have for anybody who listens to me. I do this because I like giving my take on sports. I like putting it on a recording. I like listening to it. Just flow out of me. And if somebody's there to like listen to it, great. If nobody's there for it, okay, cool, I can understand. But here I am doing it, so you guys can at least have some sort of joy. And it gives me joy to like actually bring it to life. So Boston Concessions is basically exactly what it is. We're giving you every bit of concession that's worth like its dime, which is free for everybody. We're YouTube based, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're iHeartRadio. We're also with Amazon Podcasts. I didn't even think that was a thing. They're like, hey, you want to do this on this? Yeah, sure. What the heck else that goes wrong? Bottom line is thank you. The 20 episodes have been monumental. They should have been more. I'm closing on upon a big milestone. I'll let you know what it is because I'm going to do the math later. If I missed the 50th episode, well, then guess what? I'm a boob and I've got to share it on the 51st. Either which way, I am tickled pink and ecstatic to the fact that anybody who comes in and listens to me rant, rave, scream, moan, groan, holler, call people names, call people this, or just bring up a reference to like some sort of movie track that they just go, oh, I remember. It was wonderful. I mean, hell, watching Shadir Sanders go to like, waiting and just really disappointing. It just brought me back to like, draft day with Kevin Costner, where you're sitting there watching it. It's like, is Bo Callahan going to get drafted? Did he do something wrong? Why is every team passing him up? Why does nobody want him? And the team that originally wanted him, which just happened to be the Browns, was the one who picked him. Like I said, it's like draft day. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's worth a watch. It's a little gooey, but you feel for some of the guys. Plus, it has a wonderful, wonderful cast. Kevin Costner's in it. Jennifer Gardner. Yes. If I'm looking at everybody like off the top of there, it is Jennifer Gardner. Chadwick Boseman is in it as well. Tom Welling, if you remember him from Smallville, playing Superman or Clark Kent. Dennis Leary is even in it. He's the coach, and he brings that magic that you just you want to vote against the guy. Who else is in it that I saw? I'm gonna have to look it up really quick. Okay, here it is. Kevin Costner is in it. Jennifer Gardner. Your baby-oiled man himself, P. Diddy, is in it. Yes, Chadwick Boseman. Frank Langella is in it. Ellen Burstyn, Arian Foster, Deion Sanders, Terry Crews, Laura Steinel. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look her up to where she is. Josh Pence was actually Bo Callahan. David Ramsey, who was also CW thing. Sam Elliott. Yes, the mustache man himself. Pat Healy's in it. Chi McBride. Sophie Guest. Kevin Dunn. Patrick Miss Expert. Patrick St. Expert. And I think that's basically like some of the guys I know. Chris Berman is in it as well. Sports movie, so of course they cover some stuff. Jim Brown, Rich Eisen. They got a good amount of people. Roger Goodell, Mel Kiper, Anthony Rizzo, Bernie Kosar is in it. Ray Lewis. John Gruden is there as well. Worth a little peek at if you want something like, to like throwback for a side. All right. So with that, okay, go Celtics. Let's get to like some more wins. Lakers, be prepared to go home. I have a feeling you're going to end. You're probably going to win one more game, and then absolute, it's going to be down. And here's a big question I want to actually hold for the Mavericks fans out there. If to the fact that the Lakers go down in the first round, even though you did not hold your water and Anthony Davis is now a part of your team, do you see where Luka is failing, even though he's got 48 points? Or would you still want him back and avert that trade that happened? Think about that. I will ask that question next week because it's already written down. But as it is, even. This is Boston Concessions. I am your host, Topher. As we just wrapped up an amazing episode, I want to thank the SSBN boys, even though I'm still waiting for them to get on here. We're going to hold a council on on Twitter, X, whatever it is. I'm going to blast them across the thing. When are you going to behold the concessions? Because they were supposed to already be on. And it was part of their brainchild for me to do this. So I'm holding somebody accountable as I do. So, small state, big network, you're on call. Here we go. It is almost that season, though, too, that I feel that like another guest will actually be reappearing on the pod. And I'm going to be very, very happy when he does. But we also have to get like the other boys involved as well. And we'll do that as we go. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of Season 2, Episode 20. It has been my honor to be here for you guys to listen. Thank you. And we'll see you soon.